Good day, Year 9. Welcome back to our third session on rhetoric and persuasion. Okay, we are on session 3, week 7. Interesting to know that, how time goes so quickly. Right, straight away into your book. You've only got 3 warm-up questions today. Okay, but this time looking to see how much you're remembering with less prompts. Okay, so we've taken away some of the choices and prompts from yesterday. Today you are going to tell me in your book what is meant by ethos. What is the aim, the intention of creating ethos? And what might a writer speaker do to create ethos? So what did we see maybe Prince William doing yesterday that would prompt us to remember what a writer or speaker might do to create ethos? What is the aim of creating ethos? And what is meant by ethos? So just pause the video now, take your time, and then check in with me for the answers. Okay, so we're just going to think together about the answers. And to do that, I'm just going to remind us of something from an earlier session this week. The ethos is all about the public persona you portray when you're trying to persuade someone. So really that covers our answers to number 1 and number 2. So ethos is all about the public persona, the face you put on, the way you present yourself in public or to the public. Any of those variations we'll accept. And here's the aim when you're trying to persuade someone. Okay, so I would accept words like trying to influence people, manipulate people, persuade, convince people. But ethos is all about how I come across and how the presentation of myself is going to persuade you. So what might a writer do to create ethos? So if you remember, we had some of those terms that we've started to think about. How would I convince you I'm trustworthy, that I'm a good person, that I'm knowledgeable, that I'm genuine and I care. So to create a good ethos, I'm going to show you I'm trustworthy. I'm going to show you I care. So I might use words and phrases that show how much I care. I might show I'm knowledgeable, so something that shows my expertise. I might show that I'm kind by maybe being funny, humorous, trying to get you to like me in the way that I write. Okay, my lovelies? So those are our quick warm-ups. And today, though, we are moving from ethos to logos or logos. Pronunciation, I say potato, you say potato. I'm going for logos, okay? The reason I'm doing that is it just reminds me it's not logos. Because if I was thinking about logos, I'm thinking about McDonald's, I'm thinking about that game where you try and guess what a company is based on its symbol. But our big question today, now this is the point that we can give ourselves a title and a date. What is logos? Logos. And why is it an important aspect of rhetoric? Why is it an important aspect of persuasive speech? Okay, so we are just going to remind ourselves. Now, I know quite a few of you, I've seen some lovely work sent to me already this week where people have drawn this triangle. I've seen some lovely examples and I really appreciate the people that are sending me their work. I love it, of this little triangle drawn out. If you didn't get it drawn, you could always pause and get it drawn and tick it off as we go. So we have looked at ethos, how we're going to create credibility and trust. Now we're looking at logos. Okay, so logic, reason, and truth. Okay, and you can see where we're going. We're eventually going to look at pathos. How do we appeal to people's emotions and values? So, guys, I'm just going to read this through with us. Okay, now I'm not asking you to copy all of this. Okay, that's not our expectation. Okay, but I would like you to listen. If it helps you in making notes, if you like to write things down, if that's how your memory works, of course you can. Okay, you might just want to distill this down or turn it into your own keywords, but you don't have to copy this word for word. Okay, my lovelies? So logos is your argument. It is your logical set of reasons for something. It's the way you get your audience to believe. Now, this is important, not know, because rhetoric is all about belief, not knowledge. That your aims, your arguments, the conclusions to which you're headed are the right ones. So I have to offer a logical set of reasons to get you to believe me. Okay, so logos is all about argument. It's logic. It's giving you truthful, factual information that's going to help you believe me. So it says here then that logos is a logical appeal and the term logic is derived from it. So you might hear somebody saying, oh, I'm not very logical, or people saying, yeah, no, I'm really logical. Logical is this way of ordering information and presenting information in an ordered, factual way that is sometimes seen as being a way to convince people. It's used to describe, here you go, facts and figures that support the speaker's claims or thesis. Now, claims or thesis are just technical terms for what's the speaker trying to persuade me to do? What are they actually trying to convince me? So a speaker might have a particular claim or thesis, a particular idea that they're out there speaking to me to convince me to agree with them. Now, we've unintentionally landed in a bit of a landscape of lots of persuasive speeches at the moment because of the situation that's unfolding in America, okay, and the way that that is creating resonance across the world. We are actually very much in a culture at the moment that is full of rhetoric. It's full of powerful, persuasive speeches, and many of them actually, the one area of this triangle we're not really looking at yet, really about pathos, the emotional outpouring of grief and ideas. However, you'll see as well that some speakers at the moment, either on the news, I've seen a few people on Radio 1, I'm a really good American activist speech that I was listening to. But actually, what they do is they try and balance the emotion, the pathos, with this logos, this logical set of reasons why this terrible thing that happened shouldn't have happened. Okay, so although we're in a context of a lesson, I do appreciate that the world around you is probably throwing examples of this stuff up at you, and you're probably thinking about some of these issues. Okay, and that does come up in our minds, but we're going to keep it Greek today. We're going to keep it on the past. Okay, so it's using facts and figures to support the speaker's ideas or claims. Okay, and having a logos appeal builds up your ethos because information makes the speaker look knowledgeable and prepared. So you remember we said under ethos, it's about the knowledge that the speaker might have that's going to build credibility and trust. That knowledge bank can be supported and reinforced by having a logos appeal, by using facts and figures, by having a logical appeal, by getting the audience to believe you, by having a logical set of reasons. So guys, I'm just going to say, pause there, reread this information. I don't want you to copy it down, but just maybe under the title logos, just pick out some of these keywords. So maybe just write logos is your argument. It's logical. It's about getting the audience to believe you. It uses facts and figures, and it builds up your ethos. So just have a look. You draw down some of the keywords yourself. Okay? So just press pause and do that. But we are going to look at this together. Now, this one I am going to ask you to write down, guys. Okay? So you can either write as I speak, or if you're somebody that likes to listen and then pause. But we are going to ask you, please, to record this page as it appears in your books. Okay, so this is the page I want you to turn into notes. So how do we create this logical set of ideas? How do we appeal to people's logic? Now, logic is all about the way I think, what's going on in my mind. So when we talk about rational thought, it's the way my mind works things out. Okay, and most people's minds need to be convinced. Yeah, we don't often believe in things we cannot see, that we cannot feel, that we cannot physically engage with. So logic is all about appealing to our reason, our set of reasoning skills. Okay, so there's three things we do. Okay, you ready to write down these three? Number one, citing facts. Now, this says very important. So facts and statistics are that logical set of ideas that can help people believe what you're saying. So here's a real fact. Okay, there are there are 3,890 tigers left in the wild. Now that is a fact. That's a proven statistic. It's a number that we can prove. So facts are information that can be proven. Okay, they're information that if we follow the evidence, if we follow a line of inquiry, we can prove what is spoken. Okay, we talk about fact checking the facts that people give you to make sure you're being given the right information. Okay, so number one, logos can be developed by citing facts. Number two, logos can be developed by using historical and literal pegs. Whoa, that sounds like some big stuff, yeah? But what it means here is that we can peg, see what I did there? We can peg what people are being asked to believe or think about to existing stories. Now, the reason I'm saying stories is because we've got here historical and literal pegs. Now, a story doesn't always have to be made up. I'm telling you, I could tell you a story about something that happened to me today. But the thing about stories is it creates connection. A story enables me, the speaker, to create a peg between what I'm talking about and your logical reasoning. Okay? So historical pegs are things that have happened in history that we can create a link to. So if we were going to talk about appealing to your reasoning, appealing to your mind, using history is often seen as a surefire way to do it because we trust history. We believe in the historical basis of information. Okay, so if we're using historical pegs, it might be that within a piece of writing we make reference to an historical event, a historical occasion. Okay, not since the Battle of Waterloo have men been so brave. So I'm making a peg, a connection between bravery and the Battle of Waterloo. Here our peg is a literal peg. So we can make connections to history, to things that have happened in the past, and we can create pegs, links to things people read and things people know. Okay, so from Shere Khan in Jungle Book to Tigger and Winnie the Pooh, tigers have captured our imagination. Because really what you're doing with Logos, you are creating a link between you, the speaker, and your audience's mind. You're engaging the brain. Okay, now we engage the brain through facts and figures, but we also engage the brain through story and shared memories and shared information. So when a writer is using historical and literal pegs, really what we mean is they're using examples either from history or stories. Literal means literary texts, okay? So poetry, stories. Now, I read a really good article this week about a very famous poem, okay, by a guy called Yeats, and it talks about when things fall apart. And it's being quoted an awful lot at the moment because it talks about chaos and times of chaos. And that's what we find ourselves in now with COVID-19 and the current situation. That's a literal peg. Okay. Now, number 3 is that you also want to construct logical arguments. Okay, so logos can be developed by constructing logical arguments. Now, really, this is about the sequencing of your ideas, that your ideas make sense, that you build up your argument, that it's a logical progression of ideas. So it's using logical argument phrases really at this level. When we say things, at first we will need to, then if we do this, then this will happen. So I'm just going to ask you to pause and to write down into your book this page as it appears on screen. If you want to include the little images, because they might help you, of course you can. But you know how we do our retrieval quizzes, how we build up to a quiz at the end of the week. This might be part of it. So give yourself as much time as you need, but just get these written down for me. Okay, so although there are 3 ways we can build up logos, we've got our citing facts, our literal and historical pegs, and we've got our constructing an argument. We're going to zoom in on the use of facts. Now, facts are something that can be proven or true. So look at our example. Every day on average, 5 people are killed and 64 seriously injured on UK roads. That is a fact because it's using statistics, it's using numbers, data, 5 people, 64 seriously injured to prove the point. We could do our own research, we could fact check that statement and arrive at the conclusion that it is true. Now, this one, UK roads are very dangerous, is not a fact. Now, sometimes opinions are presented like facts, and sometimes there's an overlap because we could all sit at home and say, well, yes, roads are dangerous. Okay, so there could be an agreement with an idea that's not fact-based. Okay, but it's the facts that are the proof. So I could say UK roads are very dangerous and you could agree with me just because you agree with me. However, if I can use the facts, 5 people are killed and 64 seriously injured, it supports my argument. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look again at William's speech. And as we look, I'm going to encourage you to write down, highlight, underline, list the facts. Now, the truth is there might be what we call non-facts, information that's being presented to sound like a fact, but isn't really. So as we go through the speech, I just want you to circle or write down the facts, okay? And then we're going to just think about turning that into some sentences. So, are we ready? I'm just going to read this through for you, okay? Oh, sorry. I'm going to just do that on the next video. Okay, guys, so on the next video, I'm going to read this through for you and we're going to look at the facts.